Welcome back to the show, everyone. It's Dina Kalmeta here, and for today's headlines, we have some big news to talk about. Now, I originally was going to bring you guys a political piece in regards to the U.S. because there is so much that is happening here. On the other hand, there is a lot that's happening with Russia and China and the Philippines. So I made a snap decision to bring you guys some headlines in regards to these nations because things are definitely heating up. Take, for instance, this report in regards to the U.S. Strategic Command and Space Command that are set to warn the world of the spectrum of a conflict today that could rapidly lead to nuclear war. The U.S. Military Command Wing, in its annual posture statement, will also describe how the U.S. military will conduct its budgetary 2022 spending. But the U.S. Commander, Charles Richard, will speak in front of the House Armed Services Committee and the Senate Committee on Armed Services this week. The U.S. STRATCOM outlines the U.S. military's readiness for combat and its strategic vision for how it will address future conflict possibilities. It will also outline the unpredictable conflicts that could escalate rapidly into nuclear war. U.S. STRATCOM outlines that this outcome could be decided upon when certain nations consider nuclear force as their least bad option. The Strategic Command will deliver its statement on Tuesday and Wednesday this week, and will be led by Commander Richard, alongside the U.S. Space Command's Commander James Dickinson. And he has described the difficulty of the Strategic Command's role as being one of preparing for a war that has never been fought before. It goes on further to report that last month, the command warned that the U.S. must now be primed for a full-scale nuclear war with China or Russia. Mr. Richard had stated that the chances of an apocalyptic conflict with the rival superpowers is now a very real possibility. His stark World War III warning, which came amid mounting global tensions, was made in a major new review of the current balance of nuclear firepower. He also wrote that there is a real possibility that the regional crisis with Russia or China could escalate quickly to a conflict involving nuclear weapons if they perceived a conventional loss would threaten the regime or state. He claimed that both countries have now begun to aggressively challenge international norms in ways that have not been seen since the height of the Cold War. In the meantime, over in Russia, the Russian defense minister has again emphasized in new comments addressing a board meeting of the Russian Defense Ministry on Tuesday that the amassing of additional troops in the south, specifically Crimea and near the border with Ukraine, is being undertaken in a response to NATO's own destabilizing maneuvers in the region. What he called a week ago readiness drills remains necessary for strategic deterrence. This is in direct contradiction to Ukrainian and U.S. officials that claim that the Kremlin may be preparing some kind of offensive. For example, on Monday, the Pentagon press secretary said that the mustering of Russian troops, which is bigger even than in 2014, has resulted in a violation of Ukrainian sovereignty and territorial integrity. He said that this is based on the Biden administration position that Crimea belongs to Ukraine. But Russia's defense minister said in the Tuesday meeting that NATO's attempts to destabilize the situation in the Middle East is forcing Russia to take symmetric measures of strategic deterrence. And it doesn't end there. A new video shows a Russian warship launching multiple cruise missiles in the Black Sea. It comes as new satellite images shows Russia's expanding military lineup near Ukraine, with Su-30 fighters lined up on a runway in Crimea, which were not there last month. Now, other chilling satellite images showed thousands of Russian soldiers in armored vehicles poised to invade from a base in Crimea. It goes on further to report that pictures from the ground revealed by CIT also show rows of tents and a large number of military vehicles in Russia's southwestern region, which borders Ukraine. And in the meantime, Russia has introduced temporary restrictions on flights over parts of Crimea and the Black Sea from April 20th until April 24th. The area has been declared temporarily dangerous for aircraft flights. Now, some military sources are claiming that Russia is planning a major warship assault to seize Ukraine's water supply. And some Ukrainian military insiders believe that the most likely attack will be a maritime and land assault in the south from Crimea. Now, in addition to all of this, the Russian president has said that the vast majority of the country's Soviet-era atomic stockpile will soon be replaced by modern weapons. warning that Moscow is intent on defending itself against foreign aggression. Speaking as part of his annual address to the Federal Assembly in Moscow on Wednesday, President Putin said that his government wants to have positive relationships with everyone on the international stage, including those with whom relations have broken down recently. He said that we really don't want to burn bridges, but at the same time, he cautioned that those who mistake this stance for weakness need to know that Russia's response to any aggression will be swift and harsh. Those planning provocations, he said, will regret their deeds in a way they have not regretted anything else for a long time. As part of the country's plans to defend itself, he said, its stockpile of strategic weapons is currently being overhauled, updating older Soviet-era equipment in favor of next-generation technology, such as hypersonic and laser. Among the overhaul, he revealed that the advanced RS-28 Sarmat missile will be delivered to troops in the field from 2022. A heavy intercontinental ballistic missile that boasts up to 15 nuclear warheads which can be directed against individual targets and could each deliver 350 kilotons of atomic hellfire. Ship-mounted missiles and other next-generation projectiles are also slated for deployment in the near future. Finally, the Russian leader stated that we have patience, self-confidence, and righteousness on our side. I hope no one will think of crossing red lines in their relations with Russia. Where that line sits is ours to determine. Those are definitely some fighting words coming from the Russian president, and I am sure that he means every single word of it. But in the meantime, the Ukrainian president has proposed a face-to-face meeting with President Putin. So I guess we're going to have to wait and see what happens. But in the meantime, the United States has deployed F-15s, F-16s, and C-130s for training in Poland. The U.S. general stated that opportunities to train alongside our Polish allies are incredibly valuable and critically important. It allows us to hone our combat skills, build lasting relationships, and learn to operate seamlessly as a combined force. The reoccurring aviation detachment rotations make both nations stronger by developing highly capable airmen, ready to deliver combat air power anytime and anywhere. Now, apparently, the Pentagon spokesman John F. Kirby said that the exercise in Poland is fairly routine and not a specific reaction to what's going on in Crimea. So very interesting. However, I am sure Russia is not looking at it as a routine training, so to speak. But as always, I will continue to follow these reports and bring you updates. But I would like to move on and talk about what's happening with China, Taiwan, and the U.S. Apparently, Joe Biden is about to stoke the wrath of Beijing by approving his administration's first weapon sale to Taiwan. Washington will supply Taiwan with self-propelled artillery in a deal expected to be fulfilled within 3 years. China, on the other hand, has responded to the news in anger, as the Global Times said that the weapons deal would add fuel to the flames of an already strained relations between Beijing and Taiwan. The American Institute in Taiwan told the administration in March that the Pentagon's Defense Security Cooperation Agency would tell U.S. Congress of the deal very soon. However, Taiwan's defense minister said that he had not yet received formal notification of the deal's approval from the U.S. Finally, it reports that in 2020, Taiwan was the largest recipient of U.S.-made weapons and equipment. Taipei purchased $11.8 billion worth of military goods in 2020. Beijing has responded to these arms sales by saying that the country is ready to take on Taiwan's resistance. In the meantime, 4 B-52s were deployed to Andersen Air Force Base in Guam on April 17th, in the latest Pacific Bomber Task Force mission. The B-52s from the 2nd Bomb Wing at Barksdale Air Force Base will train with joint services in allied nations during the deployment. According to the Pacific Air Force's release, the commander stated that the Air Force is currently working in a complex, dynamic, and sometimes volatile global security environment. It is our charge to regularly conduct these joint and combined security cooperation engagements across different geographical commands and their areas of operation. So definitely some very interesting news there. Could this be a precaution due to the strained relations between North Korea, the U.S., and China in the U.S.? I would definitely say yes. However, I would like to move on to one last report in regards to the Philippines. Apparently, they have vowed to stake a claim in the South China Sea against Beijing with military ships. The president of the Philippines issued a warning that the country will send naval ships to the disputed waters to defend its claim. It follows Chinese fishing vessels operating in the Philippines-held territory and Beijing sending ships to inspect for oil. Philippines president made the warning in a televised briefing on Monday, in which he accepted that sending ships to the contested South China Sea will likely lead to violence with Beijing. In fact, he said that if we go there to assert our jurisdiction, it will be bloody. The president then told reporters future disputes over marine resources would see the Philippines send 5 Coast Guard ships, and they can chase, and they can play with each other, and see who's faster. The president also added that he is not so much interested now in fishing, after China sent fishing vessels with militia on board, but is more concerned about oil drilling. He also told reporters when we start to mine, when we start to get whatever it is in the bowels of the China Sea, our oil, by that time, will send my gray ships there to take a claim. If they start drilling oil there, I will tell China, is this part of our agreement? If that is not part of our agreement, I will also drill oil there. If they get the oil, that would be the time that we should act on it. So this is definitely another serious situation, and I will make sure to keep an eye on it and bring you all updates. But those are your headlines for today. Please do leave your comments below this video. I'd love to get your thoughts on everything that's happening. In addition, do not forget to come and visit us at our new website at www.cww7news.com. Also on Telegram, as well as Parler, MeWe, USA.life, and of course, Facebook and Twitter. I know I don't like Facebook or Twitter either, but I'm going to report the news and warn people as much as I can until I cannot anymore. So if you don't like Facebook or Twitter, you can also come and visit me on Telegram and on these other social media sites. I'd love to see you guys there. But thank you everybody for watching. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you on Friday. God bless.